Okay, for this virtual meeting, we just started at 10 a.m. So, good morning, everyone. We just a few days ago, before the May 12 rather elections, today we're going to talk about the senatorial and congressional candidates, including the key parties like PDP Laban, Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas, Akbayan Party List, and some prominent individuals like Bam Aquino, Heidi Mendoza, and Bongo. So let's dive into their platforms, discuss who we think would be the best fit to serve the country.
Absolutely. The upcoming election is crucial, especially for the senatorial and congressional positions. We need to understand who we should vote for, based not only on their popularity, but also on their track records and proposed reforms.
Right, so we've seen these names on the ballot before, but do they really have what it takes to create the changes that we need? It's important to look beyond the surface and examine their actual performance and the platforms that they're running on.
Exactly. And while we're talking about the big names, we can't ignore the smaller parties and candidates who might bring a fresh perspective like PDP Laban, Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas, and Akbayan Party List.
Before we get too deep into it, let's go over the formalities. First, we have the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay. Since this is the first meeting discussing this topic, we don't have any previous minutes, so we can proceed without approval.
All good with me.
Okay, moving on to the business arising from the previous minutes of the meeting. There's nothing to address from previous meeting as this is our first discussion on the election candidates.
Let's talk about PDP Laban first. The party is a major player, especially with their long history in government, and they back a lot of infrastructure and social programs under Duterte's administration. But now, with new faces in the parties and shifting alliances, is this still the party to vote for? Are they moving toward the future or just repeating past strategies?
It's a tricky situation. By the PDP Laban may have had successes in certain areas, but how much of that is just a continuation of past projects? The people need leaders who can bring innovation and real change, not just recycled promises.
That's true. And with the party's strong connection to Duterte, we must ask, are they still connected to the people's issues or just tied to a political legacy? We need to know whether we have fresh leadership that can push for reforms in education, healthcare, and the economy.
Moving on to Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas. This group has made some waves with their focus on more inclusive government. They are all about national reform and greater involvement from the people. But does this party have strength and capability to deliver on their promises? Are they just another group with a lot of ideas but no real plan?
Yes, they're advocating for change, but like you said, LA, we need to know what they've done so far to make the change possible. Can they really back up their promise with actions?
Promises are nice, but we need concrete plans. But if you look at the candidates like Pam Aquino, who has been vocal about education reform and social welfare programs, he has experience and proven track record. He has also been a senator before, and while he might be well known, can he still bring something new to the table?
That's a good point. Bam Aquino is well known for his work in education and social welfare. He's been a strong advocate for the youth and the marginalized. But the question remains, Can you connect with the current generation of voters who are looking for more than just promises?
And then there's Bongo, who has focused a lot on public health and social welfare. His Malasakit Centers initiative has been praised by some. Does he does he have but does he really have the leadership to tackle the broader and issues facing on the country? Is he is he more than just a public face?
Bongo has built a solid base, no doubt. But like Bamakino, we have to look at their ability to push reforms in areas like education, health, and poverty alleviations. It's not just about the past programs they need to push in the envelope for future generation.
Hmm. I think Heidi Mendoza is an interesting candidate. Her background in fighting corruption and promoting transparency in the government gives her credibility, especially in a time when the public is tired of the same old issues. She's someone who could potentially address transparency issues in the government, which we needed so badly.
When we've covered the key points and discussed vice candidates, I think it's time to wrap up. Let's make sure that when we vote wisely. Let's focus on those who will truly bring positive change. So, the meeting has adjourned at 10:05 a.m. And that's all for today's meeting. We'll be voting on May 12th, so let's all make sure we're informed when we head to the polls.
Alright, thank you so much, guys.